Okay, and going off of best twist, we better talk about the best scene from season 5.
Who's the Lord of Beverly? Who is the true heir?
A lot of great scenes. These were hard to narrow down, but let's try to get through this. Uhtred going through, looking at the giant screen over the ocean, watching his flashbacks at the end of episode 10.
He's like, it's HD.
Yeah. The super nostalgic moment of Uhtred just remembering all the amazing moments he's been through with since his baptism all the way to Alfred, his last meeting with Alfred, and that really hit us with the nostalgia. Really amazing way to end a show.
Our next nominee is the tracking shot at the end of episode 10 when we get to see King Edward rolling through all of our characters in the courtyard of Bebbanburg, and it's just a single shot going through, and you get to see all these different interactions with the king, and you, even if that was the only shot you saw of the show, if you weren't familiar with the show at all, you got so much information. I love long tracking shots just in general, and I thought it was just so cool, and it just felt like such fan service, and
Totally.
And it just pans up to Uhtred and his son Uhtred up on the steps above King Edward now.
Totally.
It was such a great symbolic scene. We get to see him hand off the cup to Ethelstan. So many little symbolic moments, like I said, while also just being a great fan service, cool little scene.
Very, very awesome scene. Next nominee is just the battle for Bebbanburg in general. I mean, yes, did this battle have a lot of similarities to the Battle of Dunholm in season 2? Yeah, but it also upped the scale and added a bunch of new things like the cliff, the Scots running out of the forest. Just incredible battle. A Finnan cutting off a guy's arm, Wallen getting stabbed. It was the charge from the Uhtred gang coming in. There were amazing elements to this battle.
Yeah, just great. Our next nominee is the Rain putting out the fire of Bebbanburg. Uhtred coming out after killing Whitgar, and the fort is on fire, and then all of a sudden rain comes down, seemingly from the gods or just coincidence. It was a great scene.
Next is when Sigtrygr and Rungvald sneak across the ice into Ethelhelm's camp, and that whole battle. I guess we're counting it one scene because it all happened in a sequence, but their stealth mission in and then just starting the battle there was so epic and so cool.
Our next one is Sigtrygr's death. Again, I thought it was just a well done scene. There was a lot of Dane moments. There was moments with characters and how they were feeling about him dying, and a lot of just crazy good acting, I thought, from Timothy Innes, from Adre, to Ace, to Ruby Hartley. Just everyone I thought was bringing it. Even like we talked to Harry Gilby, who was just standing there in the scene. That was a scene he really loved.
Yeah, it seemed a lot of people who were there filming it, that was like one of their favorite scenes to be a part of too.
And the color palette of that scene, man. I love the color palette of that scene.
And another nominee is, of course, Blood Month. Of course, we almost had to disqualify this, otherwise it'd be an easy win. But it was pretty cool to see Blood Month. And what makes this scene so cool is the creepy walking through the woods, the funny pig calls, the camaraderie between the bros, and the great outfit from Ethelstan.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get to see Ethelstan after he's attacked by Brezel and his henchmen, just lay down some incredible like combat moves. So yes. Great scene.
Our next nominee is what a lot of people from the show call Tim's Play. And that scene is basically where Uhtred's group of the Avengers, after Uhtred's group finds out that Bebbanburg also has Elfwyn, so now there's no reason to not all team up and want to go get what everyone wants at the same time. And they all team up against Edward. But then Edward also just wields his power still. He's like, do you remember Sigtryggr? Do you remember the Eldermen? Do you remember all this stuff I did? And everyone calls it Tim's Play because of all the lines he did and how he brought it, and the ring tap he brought, just a signature character trait. A great scene.
And our final nominee is Uhtred's speech during the Battle of Bebbanburg to convince Steora and her group of Danes to help out with the battle and to convince them, and talking about how he is both Saxon and Dane.
Just calling it all the way back to season 1, right?
Just calling it all the way back, and ultimately convincing them to join the battle. Although what I will say about that is, while I was watching it, the way the timing is, I was kind of like, stop talking and go run out there and stop them from getting pushed off the cliff, which looked like it was about to happen.
That I think it was some editing.
I think
different stuff just to make more tension going on is what I think. I think in reality,
I think so.
He rode out and then the cliff stuff started to happen is what I think. You know,
or the cliff stuff was taking longer to happen and he had time to ride out. It just kind of looked like Edward was almost getting pushed off the cliff. Like when he started talking to Steora. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, there's no way that he's going to talk and then they're going to run all the way to the cliff in time.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, now I get off my soapbox. The winner of Best Scene goes to the rain, putting out the fire at Bebbanburg. When Uhtred comes out, when he's finally killed his cousin, Bebbanburg should be his. He comes out to it on fire. A wooden palace, a wooden fortress about to burn down. But in his eyes, it's the gods who roll in and douse the flames with rain. And it's a beautiful scene. I mean, and to us, you know, it's just, he got lucky.
Yeah.
It worked out. He deserved it. And in his mind, though, it's just that the gods are just telling him, yes, Uhtred, finally, like,
I love it. I love how the show does that. There's so many moments that it seems like it could be a magical moment or supernatural or spiritual, but there's also a rational explanation for what went on.
Yep.
You know?
So
it seemed like a very hot, sunny day. It was bound to rain sometime, you know? Or was Thor up there like, you did the shit, man. Here you go.
Exactly.
And it's just so classic Last Kingdom. Also makes it a great scene, too. I mean, it's just so emotional. I mean, it feels like you can just feel Uhtred just in the rain, just like, man, he's been a slave. He's had family members killed. He was been kicked out. He was
ready to die there.
He was ready to die there. And then all of a sudden he just gets it, you know? It was so emotional. Adre played that scene just awesome. I mean, what also made it awesome for me too was just that because the show was doing so many things that were different than the book.
Yeah.
I was honestly afraid that it was going to burn down and he wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
And I was a little, we've talked about it a bunch of times. I thought the message was going to be, Bebbanburg was always in your heart.
Yep.
Uhtred.
It was the journey that counted, not the destination.
And I was about to just throw my remote at the TV.
I would have been so mad. I'd have been so mad.
So it was satisfying. It was emotional. It was surprising. It was
because I feel like I say that the season surprised me, even though like I think the assumption is that he was going to get Bebbanburg when you watch it.
Yeah.
But the way they did it, they still found a way to make it surprising and like make us fear for a second. So incredible, very deserving of best scene. I think I think my favorite moment. It might be one of my favorite moments from the entire show when I finally just look back at the entire thing. But we'll have to get there when we get there.
Absolutely. Jumping off of that, let's go into the next category. Is Beth's death.